But you know what? We're going to follow this little probe, which is heading across the map, looking for a little bit of a little bit of a scout. I don't necessarily think he wants to do anything too crazy, because if it fails, especially on this map, yeah, you just open up a whole can of whoop butt on you, as that rush distance not too far away. Now Showtime is going to be a little bit of a nuisance, denying Clem his natural for just a little bit. But at the end of the day, that will go down. So, we're kind of into the mid-game here. Nothing too much. What I would like to see is if Clem is going to try some of these more economic focused builds. I don't think he wants to, because Showtime is a little bit more of an aggressive Protoss player. So, again, it's kind of the same issue with proxying on this map. You open yourself up very, very quickly if it fails. This Reaper though gonna get a pretty good scout. Does he see the Stargate? He does indeed. Even gonna come in here for a second look. He's not entirely certain what he saw. Gonna go for a probe kill as well. Not gonna get it though. That was pretty good. See, this is one of the maps that I love having Reapers on, just because there are so many different small places that you can jump up to. It is really annoying to deal with, and if I'm any type of Terran, I am an annoying kind of Terran. Also, welcome to the party, Mark Dat 7. You are awesome, my man. Welcome, welcome. This Reaper's still just being a complete nuisance here, forcing that Adept to not go join its brother. Now, the Oracle is done, but it's going to have a little bit of a hard time getting over there. He's got to fly around the deceleration zones. So let's see how much he can get done with the Viking. Thank you, sir. I ain't no sir. I work for a living. Looks like this Viking is going to go to work finding the Oracle. Looks like he barely glimpsed it out of his shade of view. Showtime does react relatively quickly, so he should be able to save that, as these Adepts going to go look for whatever damage they can. So now Stim Pack is on the way. Showtime going for a bit of an older but bolder strategy, straight into Phoenix. This build is pretty good because it allows you to transition into Colossus relatively pain-free. As we see those Adepts wanting to stay pain-free themselves. Not going to go in there. The Oracles, though, a little bit too aggressive. But as I was saying, after the Phoenix, you can transition into the Colossi relatively easily. You can even go up to Disruptors if you're feeling European. But, you know what? Twilight Council is the next stage. Is this Phoenix Adept? Okay, if he throws down Adept Glaives here, I'm going to be absolutely floored, because I haven't seen Phoenix Adept since the beta, when it was so broken they literally had to fix it. Welcome to the party, Predator SB. You are awesome, my man. Now Clem going for a little bit of a push here. He's not as powerful as it would be on a 3-racks. It's a nice connection right there, though. Yeah, I don't necessarily think he should push the issue, especially not with those Phoenix flying around. Goes for a little bit of a pickup, tries to get one of the Phoenix, does not get it at the end. And so he's just going to kind of rotate around, look for an angle. Oh my... How did that not go off? Yes, stream 922. We are casting this one for the Alpha X SC2 YouTube channel. This is the ESL Pro Tournament Finals between Showtime and CLEM. Game number 1. And so, for Showtime's sake, he has not taken any damage whatsoever. He has done a really good job of kind of deflecting this. And so CLEM is a little bit behind in terms of getting that third CC up. So now the Phoenix and the Oracles have a little bit of room to play around with. Looks like he was going for a Widowmine drop. But nothing really going on there. So now this is where CLEM is at his scariest, by the way. He's just about to start his push. He just got rid of one of the Oracles, so a lot of Revelation energy is gone. So his army is going to be able to go undetected. And Showtime doesn't really have an army past gateway units. Oh my goodness. Like I've said it before, I said it 1,000 times. Don't stick with gateway units, especially not when you fly your Phoenix into the other guy's army. So now CLEM just kind of wants to bait him back out of shield battery range, but Showtime being very patient here. He does not want to overextend. The shield battery has been popped. And now CLEM is set up in position. The Revelations revealing how many Widowmines there are. Now, the funny thing is Showtime is completely tapped away from his own natural. So if CLEM wanted to break off just a couple of units, he could get in there pretty darn nicely. Force fields as well, gonna whiff. So CLEM will just take this opportunity to go up the ramp, get rid of the robo facility. The Phoenix doing what they can to kind of shower this army in fire. But Showtime running out of steam here. He doesn't have any additional shield batteries in. He might be able to clean this up, but it's the reinforcements that you have to worry about. Showtime, below 100 supply, taps on out. And yeah, the Reaper will be coming across, and this is one thing that kind of differs a little bit from Terran to Terran, but a lot of Terran players have kind of decided against it. Getting that first Reaper at all. Now, when you cut out that first Reaper, you do have 2 additional Marines and the reactor up. Just kind of like these 2 lounging lizards. Get back to work. The Union doesn't pay you enough. And now the Reaper is just going to get out of there. He didn't really see too much. Did he see the Stargate, though? Okay, he's seen pretty much everything. So, see, I don't know if this is going to be good to go for Phoenix once again, because you do have positions where you can kind of rotate around near the natural, near the third base, into the main. At the same time, though, CLEM just says, okay, you flank left, you flank right, I flank down the middle, and my flank is going to get there a lot quicker than yours. And that's kind of been his strategy the entire night, as we do see a bit of a safer Cyclone opening as well. Is that still... No, that's a very fast third CC. So probably expecting Showtime to once again go for a Phoenix, meaning that he has time to kind of build up very, very quickly. The Adept as well going to try and link up with the Oracle. So let's see what he can get done here. Is the Oracle going to go towards the main base? The Cyclone is in position. So that will get deflected. And CLEM, he has a 2-1-1. So now that Oracle getting very, very low, meaning its utility is a little bit lessened. You know, I like Showtime. He's a fantastic player, but he's no Zest. And Zest is kind of the gold standard for Oracle play. So as Showtime drops his base, it's about to complete. Clem already has his up and mining. So while Showtime has an 8-worker lead, that is going to go down very, very quickly. Beautiful focus fire there. Going to get rid of one of the oracles as well. Just got to be careful not to get caught out by those adepts, which do force Clem back. So what I like a lot more from Showtime out of this game is just the fact that he is going for a quicker transition. He's not sticking on Phoenix play, and so he will be able to go up to either Colossus or Disruptors much, much quicker with charge, while it looks like Clem is still focused very heavily on a Marine-based army. Going to be able to make their way in. Does he let this one finish? No. That could have been a very nice, juicy connection on one of these mules. Just anything you can do to slow down this young French Terran. Alright, a little bit of a build up here as Clem going to be moving out for the first time. The Oracle gets a full revelation off, keeping an eye on this army. So a couple of extra sentries, a couple of extra lots without charge. I don't think this is going to get too much done, even though it does have stim. But let's see. A little bit too fast on the force fields there. Not going to get any picks, save for 1 or 2. And setting up the concave. Well, he kind of powers up, gets his 4th and fixed racks. Let's see, does he go in? He almost makes it up the ramp, but Showtime is just daring him to do so. Taking a look at that army supply, it's 50 to 34. When we look at the quality of army, yeah, we've got +1 charge lots. Clem says, I don't care. I have a couple of Marauders, a couple of Widow Mines, and a Dream. Not the actual Dream. If he was keeping Dream in his closet somewhere, I wouldn't know. Cops don't come after me. Force fields, though, coming after this army. They do get a lot of it, but there's just not enough energy to finish the wall. Shield battery overcharge has been popped, so Clem will be forced back once again. And now we see the transition into Colossus. So the timer on Clem's push is running out. Looks like a Widow Mine tried to walk its way out there, but that's just going to tell Clem there's a couple of juicy Stalker connections. Oh, he's wanting to go to the main base, but the Observer sees everything. So a couple of Stalkers just going to get warped in very, very quickly. Hey, he's going to say, I don't care, I'm going for it. And that is a bit of a mistake because the rest of the army joins on in. So he loses about 2/3 of a medevac for not that much. For a little bit more. Ooh, and those Widow Mines haven't actually been gotten rid of yet. He has to warp in a couple of Zealots to do so. Clem, I don't think he's going to let up this aggression anytime soon. I think he still wants to rotate around with some of these units while he powers up to a 4th base. Staying, by the way, very even with Showtime in that regard. But as time goes on, Showtime's army is just getting better and better. His +2 upgrades are a lot quicker, so he will be able to start +3 much sooner. He's getting a Dark Shrine. He has the Warp Prism for back harassment. And he doesn't really have a ton of Marauders with this army. Let's see if the Concave is good enough. The Zealots diving right on top of this. And the Widowmines, unfortunately, doing a lot of friendly fire damage. So CLEM will get deflected. He should just back up from here. A little bit late on the Viking transition as well, so while he will be able to clean up these Colossi, he won't be able to deal with the Disruptors as well. It's going to come down to how well he can micro his units. Do it. Be a hero. Okay, not today. Not today. Looks like the Marine is going to be scouting on forward. As we do see the Oracle going to get a revelation off, realizing how close he was to death. That's going to be a shocking feeling. Viking is going to be joining in here as CLEM just going to be rotating around the rocks. He wants to be able to get the high ground for his Vikings to deal with the Colossus, but being very, very patient here. Another revelation goes down. A Viking falls out of the sky. CLEM is maxed out. SHOWTIME is not. And CLEM is very content to just threaten SHOWTIME. One disruptor shot, just going to try and force him away, but CLEM doesn't know the words forced away. It's going to cost him a couple of units right there, but that's the last of the volleys down. EMP is going to blanket this army. With the Colossus in the back, getting some really good AoE damage in. And CLEM, his supply has plummeted. So unfortunate. While he does have 3 CCs back at home, he doesn't really have a bank to rebuild this army. Ah! Ah! My mouse died. I'm gonna find a good concave to fight into this disruptor. Getting a little bit too far forward. Will get cleaned up. Nice pickup as well, as CLEM is gonna keep this fight going. Bringing the reinforcements in. The Vikings going to town on the Colossus. And if he can get rid of those, he might just have a chance for a follow-up. Saving the Marauders as well. Oh my goodness, what an absolute decimation here. Even though SHOWTIME will be perfectly safe, don't worry, he's not dead. He just lost so much of that very high-tech army that he's gonna have to remake. So now SHOWTIME, here we go. He gets a good volley, gets rid of one of these ghosts. Gets an even better volley, gets rid of the rest of them. And now he's going to force CLEM all the way back. SHOWTIME now has his angle that he was looking for. Scan going to go down, revealing the DTs, but with Shadow Stride, he can chase you down for days. And now this position is very, very exposed for CLEM. He is all the way back into his third base to defend against the harassment. The repair just a little bit late as well, so he's going to lose quite a few SCVs. The DTs as well, going to force out a bad EMP. RIP, Zealot. Also, RIP this base, RIP this army, CLEM. Okay, if SHOWTIME does that a couple more times, maybe. But CLEM has lost all forward momentum. He is forced into 2 separate locations where he can't really hold on. And even though he's going to try valiantly, his supply just keeps dwindling. He can't fight in the choke. He can't really chase this. He's losing units for free. Now Now with another big Dark Templar drop. Oh my goodness. This is looking like it might be the end of CLEM. EP is going to go down, denying the inevitable, but his base is completely dead over here. The SCV's gunning for safety, but there is no base for safety there. And now we see just pure Stalker Disruptor. You are the Blade of Shakuras, but you are also dead to a scan. Get over yourself. But what CLEM needs to get over here is the fact that, yeah, his army is gone. 19 more workers going down. Disruptor not doing as much as they can, so CLEM is taking a decent engagement. And hey, he will be able to force this back, but again, he's down so many bases. He's down to below 100 supply, and he is down and out. But now we do see CLEM going for a bit of a fast scout here. So with that, Showtime's not really going to recognize that anything is up. It's just going to be an engineering bay block, but this is so annoying to deal with because he has not seen this until just now. So that is going to be a lot of health on that engineering bay. And this time, CLEM is just going to follow this up, skip the Reaper, go into the first Marine, and from there, probably just drop down the reactor. Looks like Showtime taking a page out of the Zerg book as he does drop it down on the low ground, just getting his third base up. I don't mind that, you know, a couple shield batteries here and there. Nice aftershave. There you go. It's ready for its date. Of course, I don't know how many dates end with a bunch of just drugged out guys with guns showing up and trying to destroy your building. But, you know, could be a pretty good movie. Now, looks like CLEM is just going to play this a little bit safer here, getting this third CC, or natural CC up here on the high ground before lifting it on over. Behind this as well, he's going to get that additional racks coming on in. So, once again, aggression, powerful pushes. That's kind of been his MO the entire time. And, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or, of course, in the French term, if it is broke, don't fix it until they up your union contract. So now these Adepts going to be looking for a way in, and that way in is actually pretty darn clear. There's not that much here either, as the Hellions already went across the map. So not even going to be able to kill off one here. He's going to have to kind of drizzle the reinforcements in and forces the Hellions to come home. Now this is actually a really smart idea now that I think about it. He has Hellions. He could have come down here and done a lot of probe damage. Why is he not able to do that? Because this little bugger right here, it takes 3 Hellions to one-shot a probe. And so with that up, this is a little bit harder to justify. And on the other side of things, yeah, a couple of SCVs did go down. So CLEM is down about 10 workers here. Gonna have to make that up with mules. Looks like he got a little bit more damage in, though. That is pretty nice. So now we just see this slow build up here. It's essentially a 2-1-1. Delayed, but a 2-1-1 nonetheless. He will have the Marines go across the map, probably to meet up with the Medivacs, I would like to see combat shields as well started pretty soon. Otherwise, you know, you might forget it, which is a pretty big problem sometimes. I've even seen Byun do it once. But these Adepts gonna take one big Widowmine shot. They will be deflected. And now we kind of slow down a little bit as these guys just power up. Taking a look at that army supply value. Yeah. This is what happens when you add on those additional racks. You just shoot up in terms of that army supply. So here we go, a couple more warpins. I think Showtime might just want to hold the high ground, but unfortunately he's going to actually cede the high ground to CLEM, as he wants to defend both locations at once. There is a shielded battery just now finishing, but the Adept, it's a little bit too late. And so now CLEM just not going to overextend. I agree with that. Losing these units early on opens yourself to a huge counterattack potential. So he is just going to kind of rotate around, look for an opening, as we do see that the transition has been made into Mass Gateway. Blink is also on the way. The force field's going to do what they can. They do stifle a little bit of the bio, but CLEM is not done just yet. He wants to find that angle. Showtime, though, not taking any chances. He's cleaning up the Widow Mines wherever he can. He's just got to hold out for a couple more seconds, and then he'll have Blink. Shield battery overcharges pop, so CLEM won't really be able to find that much damage. Oh my goodness, keep an eye on that, because Showtime certainly isn't. Alright, not the worst there. 7 workers did go down, but that is still taking a lot of time and energy away from this frontal push. And again, CLEM is just not going to let up until at least his third base is done. He wants to get that saturated as quickly as humanly possible. So even just going to get rid of the shield battery. Dude, please kill that pylon. Oh my goodness, I am getting like a nerd rage off of that one. So far, not too bad. He did get 8 worker kills here. He's still trying to engage the Stalkers, but doesn't really have a high enough Marauder count to do so. So he will have to retreat for now. He's done essentially what he needs to do. He has got his third base up. It's morphing into an orbital. It's allowed him to get his upgrades started into +1, what do you call it? Armor now, but Showtime not fighting with all of his units. The Concave is a lot better for CLEM there, and is able to bait him forward into that Widow minefield. So the Zealots will take a lot of damage to that. These Stalkers are having a bit of issue. They need to fight within range of that shield battery, or they are kerplunk. Yeah, don't do that. That's just a general rule. Don't do that. So now we see another rotation as Showtime going to be getting up the Robo Bay and the additional Robo facility, meaning that he can pump out what is going to be a very scary army, because taking a look at this, CLEM is still relying heavily on Marines. So if you get a couple of Colossus and CLEM doesn't catch it in time, you're in a lot of trouble. Like, seriously. Marines absolutely melt to a couple of Colossus AoEs. Six workers going down. Another Widow Mine did walk his way in here during all of that. And Clem, my goodness, man. Like, I don't hate this at all. He is getting small amounts of damage here and there. But at the same time, we don't see a transition. Only just now adding in the Vikings? That's just really hard for him. Because soon, Showtime will have that upgrade advantage. He will have that +2 much, much quicker. These charge lots are going to get better and better. And with how relatively unevenly you're trading with the gateway units, you're going to get rolled over pretty darn quickly. So now the Zealots trying to go in one by one. Not really the best strategy there. And I know I keep saying that, but you know. As we do see the Ghost Academy just about to finish, we do have a couple of Widowmines ready to go, but they are scouted. A little bit late on the blink there, so Showtime not really paying attention fully to his army. We do see the secondary attack as well, going to pull away a lot of Showtime's army. But he still does have that Colossus and compadres in the natural, so he shouldn't really take too much damage to this. Still finding what damage that he can. He's trading out with the army. Just not really able to do any double prong harassment like he would like to do. But, you know, he's got his 4th base up. Showtime only just now saturating his. He's going to catch a lot of this army, though, with that force field. So that is a really nice engagement there for Showtime. He's got to be careful, though, not to overextend up that ramp. Also behind this, the Templar Archives and the Disruptor switch. So this is about to be a completely destructive Protoss death ball. Disruptors as well going to make it very difficult to engage. So he's got to get to this position, and he's got to do something here. EMP is going to go down, blanketing the army. Zealot going to do what it can to stop the Widowmine, but it gets killed first. Clem, I gotta say, man, I love your aggression, but I mean, I think Showtime does have a couple of opportunities here. For one, he could send some Zealot run-bys across the map as this Disruptor doing some pretty decent damage, getting rid of the Widowmines. But at the end of it here, it looks like there's just a little bit too much bio for one of those Colossus. The Vikings get the last shot, and even though he is forced back, Clem almost resetting that high-tier army count. Get rid of one of those Widowmines. The Vikings have landed while a couple still in the air. He needs all the power that he can get. The Widowmines even missing the 5th base going up. So while Clem is still trying to trade as much as he can, he's only just now adding on racks 6, 7, and 8, meaning that he's not able to essentially build his army up as quickly as he'd like, giving Showtime so much room. Once again, coming in, I don't think that we're going to see anything but Clem pushing his head into this location. Disruptors, though, yeah, you're not going to go up that ramp anytime soon. But he might rotate around here since Showtime was a little bit distracted by this humongous DT horde heading straight for the 4th base of Clem. That is going to be a nightmare to contend with. He doesn't even have detection right here. No EMPs, no nothing. But it's all going to come down to whether Showtime can hold on right here, right now. And it looks like the answer is, of course he can. It's Showtime. Both literally and, yeah, figuratively as well. So going to fight right on top of this. He's trading out a lot of these stalkers. That base just melts like butter. 18 workers are dead in the dirt. Almost gets a ghost right there. The Vikings, though, a much juicier target. Disruptors trying to get off what they can. They get a ton of the ghosts. And CLEM taps out. All right, so 2,000 atmospheres. This is an interesting map of contention. Obviously, there's so many different ways that you can hide something out here that it's not even worth listing them all. In terms of third base, it can be a little bit tricky to take either of them because you do have some rock positions right here, which allows for a dedicated siege up. As well, you know, obviously rocks are like a siege tank's best friend in this matchup. But once again, we do see CLEM kind of mixing things up a little bit here. He's going once again for the no Reaper start. I'm just going to get the additional Marine up and going. We should see the reactor go down right about now. Ghost reactor. There we go. But he does also get the scout off, realizing that Showtime is not doing anything crazy himself. He's got his own Nexus up at a relatively normal time, and he's feeling happy. Yeah, you can clap along if you feel it. Now, I'm interested about this Pokeboy here. As, what will he be doing? It looks like it's gonna be a Hellions. You know, he's just gonna, there we go, drop the starport, get the Hellions out, and just drop them straight into the main base. Now, Showtime's choice of tech is Stargate. So, for him, that means that, hey, I can kind of deflect this. I just need to get a Phoenix out other than just an Oracle. It doesn't really slow him down at all either. So just a couple of things to keep in mind about that. These Adepts doing what they can, but one of them will go down. The second Hellion not going to fall, although it does take a lot of damage there. That Adept is not going to be too long for this world, but it's taking a Hellion with him. So that will mean that this push is just a little bit less powerful. You do need 3 Hellions to deflect, to one-shot the probes. So just got to keep in mind for that. The Oracle is going to come home. He senses something is up. And the Phoenix is already down to get rid of the medevac. So Showtime not paying attention, though, will not deflect. 4 workers going down, a 5th as well to follow. And he's just going to lift up and go to the natural. Oh, this is where the damage really starts to ramp up. There is no Graviton boost on the Phoenixes anymore. And so he's not even paying attention to this guy in the main base. Gets an additional kill. Unlucky, number 13. Overall, I gotta say, that was worth it. Like, super worth it. And now Showtime going to be going straight into more Phoenix. He's got 3 out on the map. We'll have to see if he does drop down any more. He might have stopped for a second to get additional gateways. But usually with this, once again, you go into Colossus off the back of it. And, yeah, just kind of power up. Hope that your opponent is making a ton of Marines to deal with the Phoenix. And just crush through. He's already on match point, so he definitely wants an easy win here. Almost, but no cigar. Alright, so Clem is going to be heading on down. Just pushing further and further, a little bit at a time. Just trying to recognize map presence without overextending. That Marine overextended. That's how you know. But, yeah, there's not really too much else to say about this part. You know, it's a slow buildup. You get the additional Marauders, you get the Siege Tank, you start the push here relatively soon as your third base comes on in. And you just try and keep putting that pressure in while your opponent still doesn't really have a lot of supply. Kind of take a look at this. It's 5 Phoenix, 7 Adept, and a Sentry. He's going to be able to warp in a couple of additional Zealots, but... actually, Showtime going to get a very nice position right here, but he's not paying attention. He is going to lose so many Phoenix. 3 of them going down, and that is a lot of power out of this army. So now Clem is going to feel pretty darn good about this push. Almost getting the Oracle as well with that Cyclone. Oh no, he saw this go down. He doesn't want to walk into it. But, oh no. Okay, he does kill it off. Shield Battery Overcharge has been utilized. The Phoenix doing what they can to lift up the Siege Tank, but there's still one raining Hellfire in the backfield. Cyclone eventually gonna go down. But, hey, there's not that many Marines left, actually, so the Phoenix will be able to survive in the sky. So while he hasn't necessarily cleaned this up fully, he is still trading. Never mind. Now Clem is going for more concerted, more siege tanks, more everything. Wahaha. And it looks like Showtime will be going for the follow-up of High Templar Archon. So, a bit of a charge lot. I don't disagree with that. That can be pretty good, but your opponent already has a ton of Marauders out. He's ramping up production, and yeah, he's got that third base up and mining. So, you don't really have a lot of time to get that ready, especially since Clem is up over 20 army supply. Kind of take a look at that size. Looks like a crypto thing right before the crash. I love that Marine. It was just a little bit of a bait. But he will have 1 Archon available to him, to the 1 Siege Tank of Clem. There are plenty of Marauders to soak up damage, and even going to get some missile turrets and bunkers ready to go. The Phoenix, though, can't accelerate too far forward. Get 1 more of those SCVs. He's going to have to pull everything here to defend. You know, the Zealots are going to be able to get on top of this. The Phoenix doing a good job, but they sacrifice their lives for it. The Siege Tanks as well, doing a little bit of splash-friendly fire damage. So while Showtime is starting to push this back, there is still so much tearing across the map. And, yeah, Showtime even trying to fight inside a Liberator Zone. That is the least of the things you're supposed to do. I think he does have 1 shield battery overcharge available to him, but yeah, he's gonna have to use it here relatively soon. Save the Archon. There we go. The battery does go down, but now Clem is just gonna bait him away from that. The Zealots doing what they can to buffer. But as that shield battery goes down, there's not a lot of energy left. And Clem up 50 army supply. He hasn't broken Showtime yet, but it's getting closer and closer. with the amount of Marauders, there's just not a lot here for Showtime. He's forced to continuously remake the Zealots when he would rather have High Templar and Archons and anything else other than just Zealots. But once again, Showtime is going to try and break through. The Phoenix are focus fired down, so one of those siege tanks will not fall until just now. Even though CLEM is being pushed back just a little bit, the Archons doing the splash that they can. So Showtime might be able to clean this up. But, yeah, there's already the next army on the way. And so the big difference between this game and the last one is the fact that Showtime doesn't really have any high-tier units. No Colossus, no Disruptors. He's only got these Archons, which once those go down, that's it. That's all you got. Catching a lot of those observers as well. Like, I don't know how these guys do it. Now CLEM rotating around to the 4th base. We do see that Warp Prism very weakened from a Widowmine shot. And CLEM is just slowly but surely pushing his way in here. If he knew how little Showtime had, he would probably be feeling a little bit better. The siege tanks destroying the Zealot line. And even though there is a small warp in here in the main base, there's just not a lot of army at home. Showtime is almost below 100 supply. And CLEM just getting a really good concave right here as well. Siege Tank's going to get right on top. No Disruptors today. Not for you, Showtime. I want to take this to a game number 5. And it looks like a game number 5 it shall be. The Zealots are starting to get cleaned up in CLEM's main base. The Disruptor finding one okay connection. But now it's over, Anakin. I have the high ground. You can just pick up and get on out of here. Now, yeah. I don't think I need to mention how bad these supplies look. I'll just let you run the numbers in your head, because my numbers ran out of my head a long time ago. Just like that siege tank ran out of time to the Archons. Now the last Disruptor goes down, except for his buddy over here. Once that shot is gone, that is it. A beautiful concave. The EMP is blasting through the Archons, and this is... I mean, there's just nothing that Showtime can really do here. Couple more Archons, couple more Colossi, just anything to do more AoE, more splash, and he might have had a chance. Looks like the Warp Prism did get taken down. But there you have it. Showtime taps out. And we are on to our final game of the night. So make sure, if you guys like what you see, hit that follow button. And if you're seeing this on YouTube, hit that follow button. Subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube. You know you want to. Yeah, we've got great StarCraft 2 content coming out almost every single day. Give it up for the young French Terran. He is CLEM. And his opponent up here in the top. He is looking to end this guy's reign of terror over the ESL Pro Tour. Give it up for Showtime. On Oxide, no doubt. So there is a lot that can happen with this one. Already, we see CLEM going for a little bit of a cheeky maneuver, dropping down the racks in a very hidden position, trying to make Showtime panic. Now, Showtime is no slouch when it comes to this kind of thing. He knows what's up. He knows that there's a potential that, hey, the Rax is just somewhere nearby. But really going to take a risk with that. He throws down his Nexus before the Cybernetics core, so he's going to go very aggressive on the economy. Not even going to be able to get that CC, as he did want to get a good confirmation on that where that base was, or where the Rax was, rather. So now we see what looks to be an old Beyond style of build. He's got the Marauders, he's got the concussive shells. Behind this, he should be going up to a 3 Rax, but this is just there to kind of do a little bit of poking. It's not really meant to kill anything, except for maybe an Adept or two, a Stalker that's a little wayward. Okay, it's meant to kill a couple of things. Otherwise, why would you do it? Now we do see, here we go. 1 Marine, 2 Marauders versus a Stargate opening. Now, if this is Showtime once again, it's more than likely going to be that, yeah, that's Phoenix style. I think the Phoenix style is good, but the problem with it is that he didn't really do a lot with it. There's no transition into Colossus. It was very late when he even started going for the Disruptors, and hold that thought as the probes gonna get focus fired down. The Adepts are tickled pink to see these Marauders, but they are also doing a little bit of tickling themselves. So Clem, a little bit of good micro, gonna get 2 workers, maybe a 3rd. Indeed he does, and now he kind of plays a ring around the rosy, pocket full of death, and gets a 4th. So 4 workers, and now this is going to give a small opening for Showtime to try and do some damage, but Clem is already on top of things. He's getting a very early missile turret. Mostly that's there because he wants to get +1 very, very quickly on, because he wants to go for a push soon. Oracle going to waste a little bit of energy on that supply depot. This is actually pretty bad for Clem. SCVs are pulled and the Marine count has been decimated. The biggest problem with the 3 Rax is that you don't really have a ton of units if they all die. So he's going to have to rely on this one Marauder, but, you know, the big problem. Marauders do not shoot up. So 9 workers going down. Showtime is going to be feeling on top of the world with that, since he does have his 3rd base up and mining. With this build, Clem is not going to have his 3rd base up anytime soon either. So, like, he's going to start falling further and further behind in terms of that economy. Especially now that we see that big gateway explosion. 4 more gates on the way. Forge going to be coming down, as well as that blink. So yeah, Showtime's feeling pretty darn good about his chances in this game. We're about 5 minutes in, and he's taken significant leads. Take a look at that income advantage for start. You can see where the mules kind of make their way in. Looks like he's trying to revelate, but he didn't have the energy for it. There we go. As Clem going to be rotating in, looking for a spot to call his own on the 3rd. Clem is he's trying to find an angle. He hasn't found it yet, and every time Showtime recognizes that angle, he closes it himself. Force fields as well, going to bait out some of this army, but a good positioning by Clem, going to make sure that he doesn't lose it all. But now Showtime is going to be able to clean this up relatively simply. He just has to be careful not to overextend until at least Blink is finished in about 10 seconds. Third base as well, going to go down roughly the 7-minute mark. Again, a little bit delayed, but that's what you got to do when you're going for these aggressive pushes. And we can even see he's looking for an angle to get a cancel on the +1. Will he be able to get it? It looks like the answer is denied. And now Showtime is going to have to rebuild that. He's going to fall behind in terms of those upgrades even further. And that's... and Clem, he's just going to take advantage of that. He's got the siege tanks. He's getting liberators very early on because he really, really wants to kill Showtime quickly. But we do see Showtime is getting the transition already up. More than likely, it's going to be Disruptors. He seems to be liking that a little bit more than Colossus, since he's going very heavy into the Stalker play. But here we go. Clem is preparing. He doesn't have a lot of forces right here. Currently 58 to 56. So as long as Showtime kind of baits him forward out of that siege tank range, he should be fine. It is going to be Colossus, by the way. No Disruptors just yet. But, oh no, here we go. Blink Stalkers. Not going to find the medevac. Oof. That was a potential opportunity here that he could not take. The siege tank's going to go very far forward. The Stalkers going to get right on top. They do get an additional shot off. And Clem is just going to turn around and fight this, but he can't go too far forward. Like, seriously. He's going to try, though. Alright, adding Liberators on is going to make this a little bit more powerful, but there are enough Stalkers to mitigate that a bit. It looks like he did find that stasis trap with one of his Marines. He only has one siege tank with this. I'm a little bit worried about that, especially since he's fighting in a choke versus Colossus. The Liberators are just going to get destroyed, but there's not enough Stalkers here. He's going to have to get a couple of additional warp-ins and force Clem into that choke. Clem, though, does not want to do that. He is recognizing that fact, and he is rotating around to the main base. A big Doom Drop coming in. The question is Showtime paying attention? His army is out of position. And he just I think he just wasted his gateway warp-in, so the Stalkers not going to be able to be in the main base. Siege tank does siege on up. Shield battery gets focus fire down. 3 Zealots are nice, but they are not. Clean this up nice. The Colossus, though, should do the trick, as he has a 4th one over here to deflect the other attack. So after getting cleaned up here, Showtime on a 4th base. Clem still doesn't have his, so he's starting to fall behind in terms of those upgrades once again. Taking a look at it, doesn't even have an armory. He does not. He only has 1 engineering bay. All his gas is going towards Ghosts, towards Vikings, towards siege tanks. He just can't afford any more upgrades. So his window for doing damage is closing very, very quickly. And as Showtime slowly pushes his way forward, that window, it turns more into a noose. DT is going to be coming down the left side as well. That's going to be very big nuisance, especially once Shadowtide is complete. The Zealots are going to get a little bit of poking in themselves. They don't want to be left out. And, of course, they do go down. So now just adding on the disruptors, this is the perfect Protoss Death Ball, completely maxed out. Clem is forced into a very defensive position here. Looks like the DTs might have revealed themselves, so they are going to consolidate a little bit before going in. Shadow Stride as well, going to keep them out of danger. Not that many siege tanks over here, but the Planetary Fortress should help out a bit. One good Disruptor Volley should do the trick as well. That Disruptor not even going to be able to get its shot off. The Force Field going to save it on the retreat. The DT's now going to get a siege tank for their efforts. And that is going to cost Clem his base and all of these SCVs. Remember, late game TVP, you do want to trade out some of those SCVs, but only when you have 5 orbitals yourself. So here we are in a base trade. Showtime. Ooh, Showtime, Showtime. Showtime has a little bit of a lead here, so Clem is going to have to fight up that ramp. There's nothing really back at home. The recall is going to be the choice here, maybe. It's just going to come down to how much damage does he do here. The Disruptors, once again, moving too far forward. But it might be a blessing in disguise as they get rid of the siege tanks and they get rid of the base. I think Clem, while he's doing okay here, he's really slowing down in terms of the pacing. Yeah, might want to get the DT Shrine as well. That's a pretty big thing during a base trade. You know, a couple of DTs just going to wreck face when you start to run out of orbital commands. By the way, how many does he have? He still has 2. They are floating up here to the top side. That Rax is about to burn down, though. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. He's going to have to waste an EMP for that. Does get rid of it. But now Showtime is up 151 to 100. And it looks like he is going to just decide to come home to defend. I don't disagree with that. He still has so many bases available to him, though. He doesn't really need to pressure himself. Wasting a couple of EMPs there on the DTs is also pretty darn nice. There's not really that many left for the Dark Templar. And now Showtime gets the tap out. GG is called.